If you want to know the real truth about the real estate market right now, let me tell you right here today, no one is buying rentals. And that's for a few reasons. Doesn't necessarily mean that the market is good or bad, but this is not the time to buy rental properties the traditional Burr way. And every investor knows that Burr is buy the property as is, at a discount, then you fix that property up. Okay, so that's the rehab part. Where you actually bring the value up, you're adding value now. And then you rent that property out for whatever the market value is, okay? And then you typically refinance. This Burr process is, or order of doing business in real estate typically allows you to bring in OPM, or bring in your own cash, add value to it, and then get all of your cash back plus more. And that's typically how people get paid, or one of the ways that people get paid to buy properties tax-free. Okay, now because of the rise in interest rates, the inflations in housing prices, and also rent can only go up so much, we're having a little bit of a trouble with the rent, with buying rentals right now. So today I want to go over 4 reasons why it's hard to buy rental properties in this particular market. And then at the end of the video, if you guys wait around, then I'll show you how to solve this particular issue so you guys can keep picking up those monthly recurring revenue checks. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action right here on YouTube and Instagram. If this is your first time here, welcome. But we focus on how to make as much money as you want during a 30-day period of time while you cherry pick the very best houses for yourself. But let's go ahead and get into the topic of today. So the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I'm doing refinances right now. In particular, I'm doing 6. 6 is a lot. Most people aren't doing 6 refinances at one time. But throughout the year, I'm probably doing maybe, 15 to 16 refinances a year. When I go to buy a property, okay, and I want to buy it quote unquote cash, or the seller will only agree to cash, okay. I need to buy, as a real estate investor, you need to buy at a particular price so that way you can cover the rehab. More than just cover the purchase and cover the rehab, you also need to be able to cover your money expense, the cost of the money that you're going to borrow, whether that's your money or whether that's somebody else's money. Because if your money is sitting in a 401k and it's making money, or if your money is sitting over here in life insurance and it's making money, there's still a money cost. So there's purchase price, there's rehab, there's money cost, and then there's taxes, insurance, utilities, and other holding costs. Now, rehabbers in this market right now are killing it, okay? Because of the values going up so high, instantly they get all of their equity out of their house. So after all those things, they're selling it to make their 40 bands, 50, 60 bands, and it's a winner chicken dinner. But for the guys that don't want to sell everything and want to hold something, we have to make sure, we have to leave that equity in, we have to leave that profit in, because banks don't want investors to take all of their money out, because if they took all of their money out, there's no more investment no more. Now they can walk away and leave the bank high and dry. And so they give us this criteria to stick by if we want to refinance and get all of our cash out. Now, on one hand, I love that they give us a criteria, because all it is a formula for us to buy property with no money in. Okay. But also the bad side is we have to leave all money in, okay? We don't necessarily get paid. Now, when rates was low, we were getting 15 grand cash out, 10 grand cash out, and it was a winner chicken dinner. But now since rates are higher, okay, that makes monthly payments higher. That makes the loan to value lower. That means we're having to bring cash now. And so that makes it harder to do these refinances, especially if you got 6 and the bank is only giving you 65% loan to value. Before, when interest rates were lower, loan to values were 80 to 75%. So in order to come up with your purchase price, you do ARV times 75%, and then you'd minus out your repairs, and then boom, you'd come up with your purchase, you come up with your purchase price. Does it make sense? But when they change up their criteria, so now they're doing 65% instead of 75%. So now they want you to leave 45% equity. And so I hope you guys can understand how hard it is in this particular market where the supply is so low. The supply is so low, it is causing prices to not necessarily increase, but stay consistent, stay consistent all year long. And because of the supply being low, people can demand more. They don't even have to wait as long to get the reasonable number that they want. Now, if they want an unfair number, of course, they property gonna be out there. But you telling me I gotta buy a $200,000 property for rehab, interest, purchase price, taxes, insurance, and utilities for $120,000. So I gotta leave $80,000. That is crazy to me. And so for me, it is extremely hard to hold on to property like that, because I do this for a living. Now, one of the other pieces of the criteria, you want a bank that's going to work with your bank statements. You want a bank that's going to work with your business and your EIN. They might use your social just to pull your credit, just to see if you're worthy. But they're going to back that loan by your LLC, by the collateral, and they're going to judge it by the rent. And typically they want your rent income to cover the mortgage, taxes, and insurance plus 25%. So some people might call it 1 to 25 ratio, or some people might call it 125%. But essentially, as long as the mortgage, utilities and taxes monthly, are covered by the rent plus 25%, you should be qualified for that loan. Now that's the minimum, because so I don't want you to use that as your criteria. That's the minimum, because sometimes you can get 2%, on these rental houses in some markets, so I don't want you to think 125% is what you want all the time. That's the minimum. But when you're looking at that, that's another layer that makes it harder. I made an offer yesterday. I love this property on Rose Avenue. Bro, love this property. Rose Avenue is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. Now it's leaking from the ceiling. Joists gonna have to be replaced. It's got 1 bath, so I like to add another. It's got these old wood floors has been beat up by the water. It just needs everything. It doesn't have any HVAC. The water heater is rusted and leaking. So it's your normal house. Seller wants $80,000 for it. Seller wants $80,000 for it. And I think if you leave it as a 3-1, it's worth about 170, 165. So let's do some math. So like I told you, let's say it's worth $170,000. My lender just told me last week that they're lending at 65% loan to value. So if I want to figure out what I need to offer on this, I need to do ARV times 65%. So that's $110,000 minus the rehab. And I think the rehab gonna cost me about $55,000. So that's $55,500. So my offer, and I still haven't even minus out attorney fees or anything like that, but my offer should be somewhere around $55,000. I offered 65. I offered 65. And if I get this property at 65,000 and it needs $55,000 worth of work, and I pay 12% to my profit money guy, that means I owe $134 on a $170,000 house. That's more than a 65% loan to value. And also my rent that I would have to get to cover $134,000. If I wanted to keep this property, $134,000 to make it 125%, I would have to rent this property out for $1,775. Keep in mind that Ross Avenue is right beside MLK, is in the hood. So you telling me I gotta go charge the hood $1,775 for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath in order for me to keep it? I just don't know. The market might allow it right now, but I just don't know if that's sustainable, because realistically a 3-1 in that area, I feel like, $1,450, $1,500 is fair. $1,775 is really pushing it. You might get somebody in there, but I just don't know if they're going to be considered. For those 2 reasons, it really makes it hard for people to buy rental properties right now. For what you have to buy the properties for what you have to rent them for what it costs to fix these properties up, and what the banks are allowing you to do with their particular criteria and refinancing investors out. It's just harder right now. But I believe in what I've done before is anytime it was hard to do the Burr strategy, then I would use subject to and seller financing as my way to keep property. So I would be using, my cash deals as a means to buy, rehab, resell, boom, make $40,000, $50,000. But then I would use the opportunities that came across my desk where the seller was willing to allow me to take over the mortgage, or they take their profits over time, then I would use those as my rental properties now. Because now maybe I'm $10,000 out of pocket, you know, and then I'm $15,000 in the rehab. So now I'm only $25,000 out. The mortgage on this one property is $700. I can rent it out for $1,450. So now I'm making $700, you know, net cash flow. You see what I'm saying? And I only had to raise $25,000 to make $700 net cash flow a month. That makes sense, bringing a partner in or getting a second position loan debt. I think right now where everybody needs to be, you know, is right now in the marketplace as you're marketing for sellers and deals come across your table, that your cash deals are your wholesales and your fix and flips, and your rental properties are your seller financing and subject to deals. If you don't want to fix and flip and make $40,000 and $50,000 every, you know, 4 to 6 months, then you need to focus on making seller financing and subject to offers. If you don't want rental properties and you just want to fix and flip, then you need to focus on making cash offers. But if you want to do both, I feel like you should do both right now. And that's just what the market is doing.